Polanco, the hottest man on the planet. It is Planet Polanco. His second home run of the game. Absolutely on fire. It is Jorge Polanco 5. It's the Angels 1.
We are on Planet Polanco, and on Planet Polanco, it's his second two-run homer. The 26th against the Marlins, he had 2 home runs in that game.
Yeah, he's watching him in the batter's box is like watching a scratch golfer, right? When the scratch golfer is just on point, the swing looks good, you're releasing at the right time, the weight is balanced. That's what I see, especially when they do those slow motions and they break down Polanco's swing. He's just in control of everything. The hands are tight. It's just, it looks good, man. And I could imagine what that feeling is like, right? I've never been in that zone in baseball, man. I used to bunt all day and just try to jam one out there. But I could imagine that he's seeing the spin on the ball extremely well, that he feels like everything is on time, and he's just squaring it up, man. And it's refreshing because with not the struggles that Julio has had, he's slowly been coming around, honestly, with the play from Julio. You needed someone like this to kind of take the charge, and no one would have thought it'd be Polanco at this point.
Absolutely, you needed someone like this. In fact, according to Jeff Passan, cut 2 here, the Mariners are probably under 500 without him.
And the fact that the M's are getting the power out of him that they are, you know, in this last week where he hit as many home runs practically as, you know, the rest of the team combined, he's been an absolute lifesaver and a really big reason. It's why when I look at like wins above replacement, it's a fun statistic. It's an interesting statistic, but I don't think it's actually representative of the number of wins that a guy actually contributes. Jorge Polanco, you know, the Mariners without him right now, I feel like are an under 500 team.
So this is another name that everyone is looking at for AL Player of the Month, Aaron Judge. And quite frankly, Aaron Judge is probably going to get it. Come here, ruin the party with his pinstripes. But he's hitting .405 with more plate appearances, 131 for him versus 75 for Polanco. He's got 8 home runs, 28 RBI. Both guys have also been completely clutch. Again, you mentioned Polanco hitting .714 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Judge hitting .364 in the same situation, but with more appearances. So again, it's like the one month where you could not find a hotter player on the planet. There just happens to be one, and he's a Yankee. However, what's cool about Polanco doing it is everyone talks about Aaron Judge. Everyone knows Aaron Judge has to be the hero, right? Aaron Judge gets all the attention, and good for him for having an unreal month over there in the Bronx. But credit to Jorge Polanco for doing it when no one expected it out of him.
Yeah, and Aaron Judge got more help over there, too. So, you know, yeah, he's the guy, and people expect him to do some things, and there is some pressure. But on the flip side, there probably isn't as much pressure because he can afford to have a down game or 2, to whereas at this point, I don't think the Mariners can afford Polanco to have a down game. I love that Passan pointed out the wins above replacement. Polanco's at a 1.3 right now. Like, come on now. The way that he's been played, he's feeling like a 5.6 when it comes to WAR. So thank you, Passan, for pointing that out. It is something that you need to see from multiple players from the Mariners this year, because there's going to be a time where Polanco cools off a little bit. And we had our moments from Cal Raleigh. Cal went on a tear for 3 or 4 games. Polanco's had his turn. Demo has had his. We're waiting on Julio. There needs to be a nice little rotation going when it comes to guys who are playing hot for a few series. But you ride this wave as long as you can, man. When he is in the batter's box and he's on that left side, man, it's something special right now.
I'm glad you mentioned all of those other names, Bump, because we have a text into the Mac and Jacks text line saying, okay, so we suck except for a fluky Polo hot streak. No. You just mentioned a lot of names, not only Cal, who was, I think might still be, but who certainly was leading the league with home runs. But, like, look at a guy like Leo Rivas. No one's talking about Leo Rivas. He's not getting a ton of home runs, but he's had some really great at-bats, and he is getting on base, and he's working the counts. Not everyone is the same fraction, and not everyone gets the same, slice of the pie, but you have had more than one contributor to this offense this year, and that's great news.
Yeah, you've had Ben Williamson have his moments as well. And you know what? For that a fluky Polanco stretch, listen, man, we don't think he's going to be able to keep this up, right? But throughout his career, he's been a solid baseball player, right? He's been solid at the plate. He's been solid defensively. So I wouldn't call this fluky. I'd say this is just hot. And then, but you're right. You're gonna need other people to contribute at a high clip. But that's how this team is made up. This isn't the Dodgers. It's not the Yankees, to where you're gonna have guaranteed production. You feel like almost every single night. You're gonna have to have some dudes step up and take turns doing that. It's a team sport. So yeah, is this fluky? No, I think this is what baseball is. Players, good ball players, go through stretches where they seem like they aren't human and they are baseball gods, and then they cool off a little bit. The key is, can you ride this wave? Can the pitching back it up as well defensively? Can you back up this type of play? And then when he cools off, who's going to be next? Because you play a $162 of these things, and it's going to happen like that with a team that's built the way that the Mariners are built. So just have fun with this, man. I mean, goodness, there's a lot of games left to be played. But if you just live your life in that negative space, I feel bad for you, man. Enjoy what's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this person pointing out that I agreed with Jeff Passan that they'd be below 500. I think that they have the wins they do because of Polanco and Cal's home runs. And that they might be below 500 without them. Yeah. I think it's perfectly fair and reasonable to make that argument, but I don't think that means that the rest of the team sucks and they're not getting contributions. What I like about this team right now is they're able to win in multiple ways, which has been so important for a starting rotation that's been significantly less healthy.
Yeah, that's the key too. They're weathering the storm, man. I mean, Bryce had his back flare up the other night. Obviously, you got George Kirby. Logan has been down. So you're going to need this if you want to continue to have some of the success that you're having, right? Because of what's happening with the rotation. We got lucky that 1 year. No one got hurt, and it felt like the people upstairs thought they would be able to duplicate that. You and I felt like, nah, that's not realistic. So it's a team sport. All right, you got to step up. Guys are down, you step up.
Someone else said, wait till the pitching gets hot. Bump, do you think that I am finding myself kind of priming myself for a cooling of this team? Because that's just emotionally where I'm at a lot of the time, is like, okay, I don't want to feel too heartbroken. So, you know, Polanco's going to cool off, right? He's not Barry Bonds. Like, it's just going to happen. I hate to admit it, but it will happen. And, you know, maybe Cal doesn't have a 10 home run May. Maybe that's just not in the cards for him. And I kind of don't let myself think, well, what if they actually get better? And
the experiences we've had covering this team and the fans watching this team over the past 20, 25 years is that they give you some hope, and then they cool off a little bit, and it feels like they never really get back to it. So I'm okay with people proceeding with caution when it comes to projecting what's going to happen later on in the season. In the moment, I say you just do your thing. The one stat that not one stat, but one of the stats that are glaring to me is that you're not getting the quality starts that you got last year out of this rotation, right? Last year, I believe the Mariners were top 2 or 3 when it came to quality starts from the start of the season all the way towards the end of the season. And I think Bryce pointed it out last night. You know, he just wants to go deeper into the games, right, to help out the bullpen. That's something that needs to happen, but that's hard to expect when guys are banged up the way that they are, and you're relying on a young Logan Evans, a young Emerson Hancock to come out here and perform. So there are some things that they can do to improve, that you can still go up as far as your numbers in the batter's box. But yeah, without Polanco, this team is what are they, 17-12 right now? 5 games over? Yeah, they're probably a few games under.
I think it's also okay to say that. Now, you might be someone who completely disagrees and thinks, I think that they're an amazing ball club. I am not saying it to hate on the Mariners. I'm saying it to really heap praise on Jorge Polanco and what has been a month that I don't think anyone saw coming. Just yesterday, we went and looked at the comments that people had to just kind of take a trip down memory lane of the Mariners social media post of re-signing Jorge Polanco. They were not positive.
Nah.
I did not find a single one. I saw some positive, kind of like, hey, welcome back to Seattle. Good to have you. Like, or, you know, like, hey, cool, love that guy. Like, but there was not a single person going, I am telling you guys, he will hit like 7 or 8 home runs in April. He's going to be, you know, like, batting 400. Like, it's going to be a crazy month.
Yeah.
People were primarily let down and disappointed. Now, that was in the midst of what had been a frustrating offseason for people. So Polanco was kind of catching strays with some of that frustration.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I just wanted to take a moment, rather than spend 15 minutes going, hey, he's not going to OPS over 1,000 this year, to just say, in a conference without...
He's arguably, without Judge, he's arguably the best baseball player on the planet in this moment right now when it comes to driving and runs, squaring it up. His barrel rate is up like crazy. So it's just fun to see, because we didn't have these moments from Polanco like this, not consistently, right? There are a game or two where he looked good, but then he would disappear. So and what I think about on the athlete side of this, just the mentality, the mental, how this helps him so much. I remember when I was coming back, I have a screw in my foot, and it's on in my left foot, and I was great at running slants and digs and those 45-degree, 90-degree cuts, and I could not convince myself that my foot was good. It hurt just a little bit, but the doctor was like, good to go, just let it loose, and I wasn't able to just let it loose. And then I got a bit healthier. I went and got some x-rays, the pain went away, and I got back to my normal self, and you start seeing success, guys. And for the mental, and this is such a mental game, baseball, it's huge for him. So even when he cools off, he's still going to be able to tap back into those vibes and those feels like, okay, what was I thinking? How was I feeling when I was having this success? And I'll show up again.
So a very related question again. Jorge Polanco is not going to finish this season. And I'm sorry, I may be wrong, but I don't think he's going to finish the season hitting like 390. I do think that it seems like he's going to have a better year overall. But even without sustaining that kind of really hot start, does it do something for your mental to have that kind of start?
Yeah, man. You walk a bit taller going through the tunnel, entering the ballpark. Conversations are different, and what that does when you exude that type of confidence and that belief, it transfers down to your teammates too. Like it rubs off on them, man. It's just a natural thing that happens when you're playing on a team sport. So it's good for everyone, even for the guy that's struggling, because if you were on this ball club last year and you're struggling now, you remember the days where Jorge was being booed and it seemed like he couldn't do anything right. So it's good for Jorge, it's good for this team, and it's good for this rotation, which is banged now.
All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind
Has fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 as a result of Ulbrich's son prank calling Shedeur Sanders.
I don't know anyone that thought that was actually hilarious, and right now I don't think that Jeff Ulbrich or his son Jax are laughing too hard over it. I mean, at that point, I'm like, hey, kid, you're paying your way for college. I don't know what to tell you.
Kids make mistakes, but $100,000 mistakes?
$100,000.
That's a bit different right there. I'm going to have a strong conversation with my son. I'm taking away the PS5. I was his age. I did a few dumb things, but I never cost my parents $100,000. So, yeah, we'll see how he gets disciplined. We won't see, but I hope it's something strong.
I know people don't like Shedeur Sanders, but we've seen other reports of prank calls happening. Adam Schefter, for instance, tweeted this morning, but I should say posted to X this morning, that Abdul Carter got a prank call during the second tour. But, I mean, Abdul Carter still went third overall, so good for him going to the New York Giants. He's good, but, like, nothing about this is funny. And I think that it's easier for people to hate on Shedeur because he's not likable to a lot of people, but that doesn't mean the joke is, in my opinion, that funny at all.
Nah, if this were Cam Ward, or if this were Loveland with Shedeur, which you don't have to like everybody. I get that. They're not taking it as seriously as I think they should. What's
the most expensive thing that your kid did? Like right now, Jeff Ulbrich is livid. His kid. This is much more serious. Jax could have cost him his job. Because it's not just, people can't take a joke. It was accessing sensitive information that Jeff Ulbrich left out. What if that had...
Yeah, my kid bought like $100 worth of V-Bucks one time on a low, like $10 at a time. I didn't recognize it. And then I'm looking at him, man, you knew. I gave you my card information, so now you have to ask for it every single time.
Curtis, what about your girls? Will is probably the only one big enough to do damage, but any knocking over of a TV, writing on walls?
Nothing like that, but... We were at Red Robin, and they have those little the things you pay with also have like games on it.
Yeah.
And I saw like a $7.99 charge on our bill, and I'm like, what's this all about? She had pressed enough buttons to buy a game on that. Also, one time we were at Safeway, and we were checking out. I had used a bunch of coupons. It got like $10 off our grocery bill. And on the credit card scanner thing, it says you can make a donation to help the kids.
And she's like $500.
Yeah, she's like $10, and it was like, there goes all my coupons. I didn't get a single discount.
Curtis doesn't care about the kids.
Yeah, it was just one of those like, no. You're right. I love the kids, but
not worth $10.
Yeah, no.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2 up before we start Tuesday. What's the real headline?
Bump, remember how you said you could throw a baseball up into the third deck? Well, the Mariners might need you.
Get that arm ready.
Hey, in the box and maybe lay one down. But, this is unfortunate. But this is, It's a sport. It happens. I know it's amplified. It's about weathering the storm and making sure you're deep enough. So there's a blessing in this too, is you get to see names that you normally don't see, and they get experience, right? We wouldn't see Ben Williamson without some injuries. We wouldn't see Logan. We wouldn't see who's the guy they called over there? Samad, is that his name?
Samad Taylor.
Samad, we wouldn't see him. So yes, it's unfortunate because you don't have your dogs out there. But when you're 5 games over 500, it doesn't hit as hard. But you don't want this to become a trend. Like, you need your guys back eventually, but we get to see some names that we normally don't.
It is a wild list of names on the IL. To your point, in addition to seeing some names. Like, it's not just contributions from those guys that are filling in the gaps, but it's JP looking great. It's Cal having a hot May. It's Jorge Polanco, again, like we said, playing like a
veteran defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins on a 1-year deal. What's the real headline?
Yeah, this is what you got to do when you spend 9 of 11 draft picks on offense.
Yeah, and it's hard to find a body like Hank the Tank. I'm sure I've called that before.
If not, he should really adopt that nickname, Hank the Tank.
It's hard, man. Big D tackle. This draft wasn't like really heavy with these big D tackles type of guys. He's a veteran. I think this is a necessary signing. You saw this coming when you saw the draft without that type of body, for real. So Hank, man, 1D tackle, had an interception last year. Let's get another one this year. And he has a pretty dope podcast, man. I listened to it a couple of times. It's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's he talk about? Is it like all sports? Is it just
it's
general
sports,
life
it's
stuff?
life. He mixes it up, pop culture. He got a little bit of everything in there.
Is he funny?
Yeah, he's funny.
Okay, so he does not fall under the category. There are a couple of athletes I've covered. Him, Quandre Diggs, Nick Ballore, Ryan Neal was really funny.
Hank, he's a good talker. And Ryan Neal. He should definitely have a podcast.
He was so funny.
Is he still with the Bucks? I wonder where that guy is.
I don't know.
He was a fun one.
He was a good guy. Like he was really funny. Quandre and Nick Ballore had a good feud online, like a fake feud.
I feel like Quandre could do like serious pieces. You know, because he
has
really,
the range. He has the range.
Yeah, exactly. Quandre is like he's an uncle out there.
The great thing about Nick Ballore and Quandre Diggs' feud is that I don't think Quandre thought Nick Ballore was joking, and Nick Ballore was absolutely joking.
Was he?
I don't think Quandre quite understood Nick Ballore's humor, which made it even funnier.
It was so funny. Like, they would get into Photoshop battles of like Quandre being 2 feet tall. And just, it was great stuff. All right, Get Off My Lawn coming your way at 10:45. We are diving into baseball at the park with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Schusterman talking about a hot April for the Mariners. That's coming up at 11. Before we get to it, Dane Brugler talks Seahawks draft steals.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Looking at Cal Raleigh, man, could he be in that conversation for MVP? He deserves a praise. He's been phenomenal. The question, can Cal keep this up? I mean, probably not. I'd feel so much better about this team if Julio went on not some kind of a tear like Cal, but just get back in there.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, fight fans, Bob Stelton here from Wyman and Bob. How'd you like to sit ringside with me at Excite Fight MMA? Seattle Sports is hooking up one lucky winner with 2 VIP tickets. That's right, you and a guest for an unforgettable night of fights on May 24th at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. These seats are right next to the cage, right next to me. You're not going to find them online. This is a one-of-a-kind experience. You can enter right now at seattlesports.com/win for your shot at a fight night you're never going to forget.
Eastside Bavarian reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Eastside Bavarian, Western Washington's premier independent German car service specialist, online at eastsidebavarian.com.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down. I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, before we get to Get Off My Lawn and then Yahoo Sports' Jordan Schusterman to talk baseball, we've got a little bit of NFL draft sound. Dane Brugler was on with Wyman and Bob the other day, and he has some draft steals that he thought the Seahawks got, and they have his third best class. So let's take a listen to some audio here, Bump. We'll start with cut number 6. Here is Dane on why he has the Seahawks rated so highly.
With the Seahawks, in terms of value, in terms of the players added, I thought they did a tremendous job. Nick Emenwari in the second round. I think he's obviously going to give some Cam Chancellor vibes, but he's in good hands with Coach McDonald. You think about what he did in Baltimore with Kyle Hamilton, 6'3", 220 pounds, 4.3 speed. And I was really encouraged talking to his teammates throughout the process when they talked about his intelligence. They talked about how hard he works during practice and things like that. So very excited to see how, is he going to be used as more of a nickel. He'll probably be the start as the third safety, but how will they use the different personnel packages to get him on the field?
Bump, I'm not even sure what argument someone could make that it was a bad draft class. What's one of your favorite things about it?
I love that nothing felt like a reach, right? Zabel was there at the 18th spot. I think I heard Dan Jeremiah talk about this morning that he was more concerned if they would kind of trade out of that spot. But you're at 18, you need a guard. There's a guard there, not just a guard, a guy who can play center, guard, tackle on both sides, right? We spoke to his offensive coordinator yesterday, and he mentioned that as well. So nothing felt like a reach. And then when it comes from the Imawari pick, it was just an easy decision. You move up, you go and get your safety.
I didn't think they'd get him.
No, me either. My question is, will he play nickel? I don't see him as a nickel guy. I think he can play nickel.
Yeah.
But I think the only way he plays a consistent nickel is if the Hawks feel like they don't have the outside corner opposite of Rick Woolen. We saw Josh Jobe have his moment, picked off Josh Allen last year, Josh on Josh crime. We saw that, his first interception of the year. And I think it's all contingent on him and if they find themselves a diamond in the rough when it comes to these free agents. But I see him as that third safety. Now, the third safety will be in the box.
Yeah.
He will line up against over the tight end. But he doesn't seem like a full-time nickel guy to me. Can he do it? Yes, but not full-time.
We're going to go draft steals. We are going to go with quarterback Jalen Milroe, and then we're going to go talking about Elijah Arroyo at tight end. So let's start with cut number 7, 2 draft steals.
Even on day 3, Torrey Horton was one of the steals of the draft to get him where they did in the 5th round, to help kind of fill out their wide receiver depth chart. I won't be surprised if Horton's really pushing for starting reps at some point this year as a rookie. And then I love Bryce Cable, the guard from Kansas, who as a college tackle, in a lot of ways, kind of the maybe a day 3 version of Zabel, where he's explosive, moves well. There's a competitive edge to the way he plays. And he was my top-rated non-combine guy this year. And so I thought the Seahawks did well nabbing him in the 6th.
Again, he's not the only NFL analyst to really like the Torrey Horton pick. NFL analyst Matt Harmon was really high on him, said that he felt like he was a top 10 receiver, could have gone much higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every late pick I heard about with the Seahawks, there was someone going, wow, I thought this guy would go a little sooner.
Yeah, the thing with Horton is that he was banged up, right?
Yeah.
ACL injury, I believe that it was, so he missed most of his season last year. And they're right. I look at him and Ricky White, and they're similar receivers. I think Horton has a better resume than Ricky does, even though Ricky is the all-time leading receiver at the university, UNLV. Ricky White
Switched him. I switched
him. Yeah, at UNLV. But it's the run after the catch. It's the fluidity in the breaks.
Yeah.
It's able to track the football and go get it. Both these guys are steals, man. And I think that Ricky White is going to have a chip on his shoulder because he felt like he should have been drafted earlier. Mm-hmm. And Horton has a chip on his shoulder because he hadn't been able to play last year. So I like both of these picks because you need a guy to help MVS kind of stretch the field, and both of these guys are going to do that. You have your slot guys in Jason and Cooper Kupp, and both can move out to the outside, but you need a guy who is a straight line fast and can put pressure on safeties, and that's what MVS can do. That's what Ricky White can do, and Horton.
I also like replenishing that group with young guys. I know that when people see guys that aren't getting as much time, you've advocated for a little more time for Derek Young, for instance. I constantly see people talking about Jake Bobo. Mm-hmm. Those guys aren't necessarily young guys. I mean, they are, but they're not rookies.
So year 3 for these guys?
Yeah, they're not guys necessarily that are like by year 3, you haven't quite been pushing for too much starting time. I'm not saying there's not a chance to be great on special teams to contribute to the team, but I kind of like just replenishing that group and going like, we might have a lot of question marks, but some of these question marks are rookies. Yeah. And maybe there's a chance that they develop.
And that receiver too, it's I wouldn't say it's easier to kind of replenish that position, but you can get production out of young guys. And when I talk about what you need from your skill guys on the outside, you need explosive plays. You get 1 from Bobo, 1 from Reed, 2 from Horton, 2 from Ricky White, and then the starters contribute their 10+. I mean, those are explosive plays to be made. So just because you're not ready to go right now, so we're hoping that happens with Ricky and Horton.
Ready to talk Jalen Milroe?
Let's do it.
He's the draft pick I think people are most excited to talk about outside of, obviously, Gray Zabel and Nick Imawari were people that were already mocked to Seattle. They were popular choices. I didn't think they'd really take Milroe. I really didn't. Cut number 8. Here's Dane.
he was a third-round pick for me. He was like 74 or something on my top 100 board. And so I couldn't get really on board with that. But in the 90s, yeah, at risk. And, he's very raw and unpolished as a passer, but as an athlete, as a big play creator, he is special and really dynamic. So, you take a chance on a player like that, see what you have. That's, I think, very much worth the risk at that point.
Is Jalen worth the risk?
Oh yeah, for sure. He is a project. Definitely. There's some things he needs to work on when it comes to his accuracy. But when you have a guy who has a football in his hands potentially every single snap and can make something happen on his own, you got to give that a try.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks have we seen coming into the situation run a 4.37? 20 rushing touchdowns. The year before last, his pass game was a bit better. He got some things to work on, but everyone does when you enter this league. It's just it's amplified a bit when you're at the quarterback position because you have a big responsibility. But there are going to be packages where we see Jalen out there and for 4 or 5 plays, and even he's the type of player that he'll have a 3-yard run, and you'll be like, oh, man, that was so close. You see that? Like, you can feel
it was so
the potential in that run, So it's about designing the right plays. I was listening to Jeremiah this morning, and he made a great point. In Alabama, they didn't really design a lot of run plays for him. It was more the off-script plays. So if they can design some plays for him that allow him to show that athleticism, it's going to be huge.
Well, and it's kind of like worst-case scenario, he's not your starting quarterback, but is still gives you some pretty cool options. I mean, I know a lot of people have said he could be the Taysom Hill package, and Mike McDonald pushed a little bit, said like, look, he's a quarterback.
Right.
But the worst-case scenario is you've just got this really cool athlete that, I don't know, gives you some depth at the most important position in sports. Like, there's not really, to me, a scenario where this feels like a complete. There's not.
No, he's an athlete. And football players, in my opinion, are the most raw athletic athletes in the world. Them and probably rugby. Have an athlete who happens to be able to throw the football and who I think can develop into a better passer. You roll the dice because we're not so sure about the quarterback position. I believe that Sam has an opportunity to do great things here, but he's only done it for a year, so you need to be able to mix it up if you have to.
I'm going to start saying we when I talk about athletes too.
Yeah.
Just I want to be.
Did I say we right now? I didn't say we.
No,
you were a water athlete.
I was a water athlete. Yeah,
that works.
Yeah, in the water. I just take off like a penguin. You know what I mean? Like they kind of on land, they're not very intimidating. They're they walk kind of funny. They can't run, but in the water, they're like
that water.
Yeah.
Different
So
story.
look out. Okay, let's talk about Elijah Arroyo. I know you're really high on him. Cut 9.
Really athletic. Nobody could cover him at the Senior Bowl. So you take that speed, the pass catching ability, and think about that tight end depth chart, how much it's going to change in probably the next 2-3 years for Seattle. Arroyo is going to be a major factor in kind of moving up consistently over the length of his rookie contract.
Now, when you've got a day that includes trading up to pick 35 and taking a well-known safety and then taking a quarterback, the other guy's going to get ignored. And that's what happened to Elijah Arroyo. But you think that there's a ton of potential for him in this tight end room?
Yeah. His body movement, my quote, I believe, was his body movement is second to none. There's some guys who are just fluid and explosive with the way that they move. There are some guys who are straight line guys. I call them track guys. They go on a straight line, they are moving, they're fast, but as soon as they have to make a cut or decelerate to accelerate, something happens in their body and it happens too fast. With him, he's straight line, decel, accelerate, cut, high point the football. The way he moves is almost like he were like a Z receiver, but he's just a big boy, big tight end. So he could be a mismatch problem, man. I love the pick. Wasn't too familiar with him when the pick went down. Watched a little bit of film. Went back and watched a lot of film. He does some great things. And Miami didn't even use him like the way they should have because they had other weapons. Damian Martinez, Restrepo over there as well.
Which is crazy because he's 500 something. Like, it's still a good year.
He could have easily went for 1,000 yards in that offense.
See, that's what makes me excited because I think that I was excited for an addition to the tight end room. I think it's been a problem for Seattle, but I know there were a lot of people that felt pretty sure got to be a wide receiver. So hearing like he is a passing game weapon.
Yeah.
I think should make people very excited. All right.
Afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
super blessed, super grateful. But yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner. But I landed in the right spot. Odell, it's personal list. So like, that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton. Afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. If you have nothing to do this weekend, I got a plan for you. Hop on I-5, you go north, get off exit 60, 2-minute drive off the highway, and you are there. Silver Reef Casino will appear. You walk into that lobby, and make sure you get one of their deluxe king rooms. It's beautiful. You got great views. They got iPads in there. It's all ready to go. Watch a little TV, get settled in, then go downstairs and check out some of their great restaurants. They got the steakhouse and the new cantina if you're in for some fiesta. When you're done there, let's have a drink, man. Go to the Porter's Bay Sports Bar, sit down and watch all the games that you can imagine. They got football, baseball, soccer, cricket, whatever you need, you can watch it there. And if the weather is good, or if you're a soldier like me, I'm getting out there regardless. Go to Loomis Trails Golf Course and have a swing, man. Hit the range and visit their historic clubhouse. If you're getting FOMO, don't worry about it. I got you covered. Look, go to silverreefcasino.com and book your stay today. They got something for everyone at silverreefcasino.com.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours. The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas, explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Talking Mariners with Jordan Schusterman in 15 minutes. Before we get to it, Bump, every Wednesday at 10:45, you got to sound off about 3 things grinding your gears, making you tap into your old man self and say, get off my lawn. So what's driving you crazy this week?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Side note, I'm 39. I need to join a country club before 40 because once you turn 40, it gets way more expensive. So
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's
That's ageism.
It is, right? But they want to encourage.
What's behind that? That is weird.
They want to encourage younger people to become members.
Oh, so it's a discount that you get if you join.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does your membership fee then kind of get grandfathered in at
Good
40?
question.
Like you just pay your rate at 39 that you do at
Great
40?
question. I need to do more research.
Bump, you're running out of time.
I am. I got like 7 months or something like that.
Because that would seem kind
Wow.
of pointless if you pay for age 39.
Yeah.
And they're
then
like, you
at
get
40,
7
it's like-
months of cheaper.
No, I'm sure there's some kind of leeway. Give me somewhere. Holla at your boy because
He's running out of time.
I'm almost a senior citizen. Okay, back to why I'm angry today. Hey man, and Halliburton's dad is waving a flag all in Giannis's face, and Giannis is standing there looking at him like, dog, you are tripping. Then they're forehead to forehead, getting at him, standing after the game. There's some parents who have that access, right? John Morant's dad is always on the court. You see LeBron's wife, he's always on the court. There are some people who have that too, but he's a professional. He's not going to do that. I just think it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like your son did hit the game-winning shot. Yes, they are advancing. There's beef between the two teams, but you have nothing to do with it. And Chuck was against Halliburton's dad. I was with Chuck. Man, you can get on the court, shake Giannis's hands, be a professional. Like your son has reached the pinnacle when it comes to basketball. Act like you've been there before. For a while, Halliburton has been a highly recruited player his whole life. It just seemed immature and just like you were a drunk uncle at the cookout and your auntie got to take him home because
you're too young to drive, like a 16-year-old niece or nephew, and be like, it's just down the block.
We'll take Uncle home, please. Uncle tripping.
What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
There it is. There it is, Matthew.
Matt,
Thank
you were about
Matt.
to be told to get off Bump's lawn.
This next one, we already talked about it already, but it's Ulbricht's son. Like, all right, man. This is behavior type stuff, right? You got to have talks with your to do something. We go into a store, we're going to an event, I check in with my kids, everybody good, you got your water, have you used the restroom? Hey, listen, be on your best behavior. I don't want to have to get $1.6 million a year. So that's roughly what, 12-13% or whatever of what he makes. I'm making that kid work for that. I don't care. He's 21 years old, and you are a fully functioning adult. There are some 21-year-olds who are like 30, but there are other 21-year-olds who are like 16.
And this is the latter.
And this is the guy who was 16 years of it. All this is classified information. You have to make that so serious that the fear of God is in him, and he would never want to jeopardize your career. And that's also money, all right? If I am Ulbricht right now, man, I'm doing one of those when you grab him by the shirt and you scrunch him up and bring him in tight and push him against the wall. Like, listen, dog, you messing up our money. You're messing up our lifestyle. So I'm more disappointed. But I'm also looking at the dad and be like, you got to do a better job of making sure that he knows the severity of the situation. Like, you don't jeopardize my career like that. This is a sloppy situation.
Right? It would be like if Jeff Ulbricht were to leave his iPad open at a Starbucks and someone sitting next to him did this. Now, I think that maybe what people are curious about is like, well, much younger, but it was a 21-year-old son who did this. What are you doing? Like, is it like, all right, you got to pay your tuition this year?
He's paying some of that. for sure.
Yeah.
I got to keep it. You got to be realistic. Ask for anything. I better not hear nothing from you. I ask you to go get me 1 ice cube and 2 tablespoons of water. You go get that thing with no attitude. I'm on his head.
All right.
Last one. This one kind of gets me, man. This is like a life type thing because, you know, I like pop shots, but I hate when it's time to pay and they say, oh, it's going to ask you a few questions. No, you're going to ask me to tip. Don't dress it up that way. Just turn the pad around and be like, here, I'll follow through. But I just don't like the passiveness. Oh, it's going to ask you a few questions. It's going to ask me 1 question.
Yeah.
All right, what's the amount that I want to tip? And the more that happens to me, the more annoyed I get. But I'm like, it's not you. They're coaching you to present. I just don't like the presentation. I'm really big on presentation. I tell my son all the time, you can get me to do almost anything for you if you present it the right way, because I love you, I care about you. If it makes sense, tipping things, they're going to ask you a few questions and you turn the pad around. It's like, no, we know what's going to go down right now. We're adults. We've been in this situation before. The presentation got me, and it got me yesterday. And the young
Did
lady.
you think, like, is it going to be a survey? What is this?
Exactly. It's 1 question. What's the amount that you want to tip? So it's not on the baristas. It's not on the waitresses. It's on the POS system and the owner.
Or like 20 is the lowest.
You should start at like 15, 18.
Let people leave a little below 20.
You know what? At my golf course at Echo, it starts at 15. That's where it should start.
That's normal.
Yeah.
You should never, in my opinion, 20 is standard. Like, you should kind of aim for 20 as a baseline, and then only if it's like you did absolutely nothing and this is expensive and I don't know why I'm tipping you.
A few questions. We know what's going down.
All right, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Schusterman joining us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us.
I ultimately had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like, I kind of had like the NFL, it's personal list. So, like, that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. 400 new and used RVs, plus manufactured homes. Over 1,000 floor plan options. It's your best chance to save all year. Browse the exhibits, chat with the experts, free parking. Tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out.
because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners have a chance for a 7th consecutive series win today with a matinee game against the Angels. First pitch at 1:10 p.m. Pregame show starts at noon right here on Seattle Sports. Something we learned from Alex Mayer yesterday. This is the only 2-game series of the year for the M's. The NFL has fined the Falcons and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich after a private number was leaked and led to a viral prank call. The number in question belonged to Shedeur Sanders, who was pranked by Ulbrich's 21-year-old son after he accessed his father's iPad.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Sports, Jordan Schusterman joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jordan, we are live at T-Mobile Park ahead of a matinee series finale where the Mariners have a chance for their 7th consecutive series win. I don't know how many people were expecting a really hot April for Seattle, particularly with their offense. And leading the charge has been Jorge Polanco. Tell us what's been standing out about Jorge's game to you.
Yeah, what an astonishing start to the season for any player. I mean, if anybody was hitting this well for any reason, I think we would be quite impressed. But just when you consider how Polanco's last year has been, it's simply remarkable for how injured he was last year and for how, where his production was relative to his career norms. When he ends up back in Seattle, I took that as, okay, this is just a reflection of the market saying, we don't really trust you to be that productive anymore. And for him to end up back with Seattle and end up being this productive is just an amazing development. Obviously, are we expecting him to slug 700 the whole season? No, but he's already provided so much for this offense.
Yeah, if he's not in this lineup doing what he does, who knows where this team is. But the rotation has been hit a bit, right? Logan's out, Kirby obviously starting the season, and then Bryce Miller had some issues before the start yesterday. But what impressed me most about that is just his ability to walked 5 and still found a way to push through that. What'd you see out of him?
Yeah, it's a great point, and I think, as we've talked about this kind of the evolution of this rotation and the versions of it that we've seen, we just got so used to it. It's like, all right, yeah, they'll just dominate for 6 innings, but it's not always that simple. And I think for Bryce Miller in particular, to kind of find ways to, he's not someone that is necessarily going to overwhelm the opponent. And, the velocity was not all the way there last night, the way you sometimes see with guys like Castillo, guys like Gilbert, of course, when he's healthy, and even Brian Wu, who can really dominate with just that fastball. You've seen Bryce add more and more pitches, and his command has not been as sharp this year for sure. I'm sure he would tell you, he'd be the first person to tell you that, but it just speaks to just how talented he is and how good this pitching apparatus is that allows him to still be able to get a lot of outs.
Speaking of injuries to the starting rotation, we've got some more injuries to position players. Just before you joined us, Jordan, we had an update from GM Justin Hollander that Luke Raley is going to be missing at least 6 weeks with a grade 1 oblique strain, and we already know that Dylan Moore is out. He'll come back, so that's good news. But if you're the Mariners, and you are dealing with, you've already lost now 2 outfielders, you've got a utility guy down for a little while, are you calling JD Martinez? I mean, how might you look to address some of these injuries when you're pretty competitive early this season?
Well, if Jorge Polanco is going to keep DHing like this, then I don't know if you want to mess anything up there. But
True.
It's a fair question. I think how this season has gone is so interesting because, you assumed that the first calls that Seattle was going to be making this, coming with the trade deadline or before that would be to add offense. And because of some of these injuries and the bottom part of the lineup, I can understand that. At the same time, as we've seen, it's not just Polanco. Like, this has been a good offense. Polanco's been a huge part of that, but you could also argue that maybe they should be looking for help on the mound. And so that's not necessarily a position we've seen the team operate in recently. We've seen them, acquire some relievers here or there. As for going out and adding, this badly need David Robertson, who's another guy who's out there coming off an awesome season. I have no clue what his status is or if he's been throwing recently or whatnot. So maybe there are some other free agents that are still out there for whatever reason that could help, but I still have to imagine they're going to go the trade route as soon as that becomes apparent to them.
With all the injuries, you're going to rely on some young talent, right? We've seen Logan Evans, Emerson Hancock, Ben Williamson. How do you assess this young talent so far at this point of the season?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, we kind of talked about Williamson recently and just understanding the expectations for a player in his situation. And, maybe we'll start to see, if we do get to see an extended run of someone like Samad Taylor, I don't expect, Rylan Thomas, the guy they just brought up for what his major league debut, I don't expect him to be playing all the time. But I don't know. I mean, with his level of minor league experience, I think you have to be pretty happy with him, and you have to kind of hope that he can continue to do that. And that also is related to your previous question, which is, maybe we do start to see a Tyler Locklear up here sooner rather than later. I know he's off to a solid start. I know we say focus on the guys at the top of the prospect list, like a Cole Young or a Harry Ford, but Locklear's something we've seen at the major league level. Didn't always
been seeing from Julio. I know that we joke about checking in with you almost every week about him, but look, when you talk about the player that's under the biggest spotlight, it's not going to be Jorge Polanco who's having a hot April. It's going to be Julio, right? And all those expectations in the contract. So what are you seeing from his ABs?
Yeah, I'm going to botch some of the exact specifics, but I know he had an at-bat, I believe it was over the weekend, that was really encouraging, where it was just a big spot late in the game, and he just jumped on the first pitch and hit it to right field. And one of the issues we've talked about a lot in terms of Julio at-bats where it doesn't look great is he gets himself into bad counts, and he's going to be liable to chase, and he's just not giving himself a chance. And that was a good example where he was like, listen, I understand the game situation here. I don't need to hit a home run. I just need to hit the ball hard, and they're probably going to throw it in the zone in this specific situation. And, he hit it to right field, and that just, totally broke the game open. So more swings like that. Again, he's still hitting the ball hard. He's still drawing a lot of walks, right? I mean, that's something, too, that I think you have to give him credit for. And while I know the batting average has not necessarily, where a lot of people want it to be, and you could say the same thing about Randy, right? Those guys are generally coming through in a lot of the big spots recently. And when you combine it with what Raleigh and Polanco have done, you got a pretty good offense. And by the way, J.P. Crawford, who's really turned it on recently, I think that's another huge part of this offense recently.
Know how much prep goes into the games, right? Because obviously we have all these data points, baseball savant, whatever we need, and we can kind of watch the ABs and talk through it with them, right? How much prep do they go through when it comes to this? Because they play every single day. How much time do you think they spend on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think different teams approach game planning differently, and I'm sure that the new hitting group led by Edgar Martinez, I'm kind of excited to learn more about the. You hear some of these answers. Oh, you guys are scoring more runs. Like, what's Kevin Seitzer telling you, right? And generally, in the shorter settings, you just get the very basic, like, oh, well, this is the approach. Stay up the middle. Do these things. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. I don't know if they've changed the way that they're preparing in terms of just like, okay, this is how we're going to attack this kind of pitcher. Sometimes you do end up situations with information overload and you say, okay, here's everything that you need to know about. It's just like, you need to hunt this right now, and that should be your only focus. And for some hitters, they do want to know everything, and some hitters, they need to know, you need to narrow it as much as possible. And for whatever reason, enough of the messaging has resulted in obviously a lot more offensive consistency, even at home, right? And I think that's maybe the biggest part about it. We've been talking about this since the start of the season, with so many home games early in the season. For them to play this well offensively at home is, I think, what's most encouraging.
The Mariners are a flawed, sometimes really fun team to be able to watch. And so when they appear on a top 10 power ranking like they have recently from MLB or ESPN, it feels encouraging and it can be kind of exciting, but you also take it with a grain of salt going, not only is it April, but man, this team had some big question marks entering the season. That being said, Jordan, given the context of it being only a month into the season, do you see the Mariners as being in a tier of right now really competitive teams?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're still in the stages of figuring out who, as we just, did on our podcast recently, like who's good in the American League.
Right.
But when you win this many series in a row against some good teams, again, on the road, at home, you're taking care of business against the teams they generally should. Now, there's only been one sweep kind of mixed in there. So they have been dropping some games along the way. And you can also point out that their 2 series losses were to 2 teams that I think at this point a lot of people are by in San Francisco and Detroit. Yeah. So what does that say about them if they couldn't stack up against them? But it's still really early to kind of be drawing too many conclusions in terms of the comparisons. But like I said, you win that many series in a row, you're probably doing a lot right, and you're kind of proving that you are less. I mean, not just that you're racking up the wins, but in theory, you're a lot less slump proof than maybe I think a lot of people thought this team would be, certainly on the offensive side.
Are there still any just obvious questions about this ball club at this point? Obviously, things change series by series, week by week. But at this point, is there a spot you're still looking at and saying, all right, no matter what happens from here on out, this spot needs to improve?
Yeah. So offensively, I think it's kind of what I said before. I mean, obviously, he's had a few big swings, but Rowdy Tellez and Donovan Solano, we know those guys have generally struggled. I think still, though, I'm most interested to see how this rotation continues to evolve. And not that you want to see injuries to guys like Gilbert. And by the way, it seems like encouraging news in terms of George Kirby coming back sooner rather than later. But in terms of Kirby coming back, in terms of Matt Brash coming back, and then in terms of how many more starts are we going to see from a Logan Evans, from an Emerson Hancock? Because especially for Logan Evans, right? Hancock at this point, do we know exactly what he is? No, but we've gotten a pretty large enough sample as a starter where you're starting to understand what you're expecting from him. Whereas Logan Evans, this is kind of the beauty of young players, but especially young pitchers, where it's an even smaller sample size between starts. You can kind of just start telling yourself anything. All right, well, he could go 6 every night. This is what they do. They churn out these awesome starting pitchers. Obviously, it's way too early to know that. He was facing the Marlins. Let's see how he does against some other opponents. And by the way, maybe he's going back to AAA as soon as George Kirby's ready. But how this rotation and bullpen shakes out with Kirby and Brash coming back I'm I think most curious about, because now you have more room for error because the offense is suddenly pretty good, but it's kind of flipping the way we've normally talked about this team. And let's see what they can make happen on the mound.
Speaking about being really excited for certain things, the Mariners here includes obviously the Rangers and A's, and then they've got the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Padres as we inch into kind of the middle of May and end of May. Is there a team in particular that you're kind of eager to see Seattle stack up against?
Yeah, I think San Diego. So I'm writing about the NL West right now for Yahoo, and the Padres are just a fascinating team. I think, you look at their first 10 or so players on the roster, and it's basically as good as any in baseball, at least when they're healthy. But, I mean, you talk about depth, you talk about issues after that, and, you could say this is a very real critique of the Mariners roster right now, but I would say it's arguably even more extreme in some respects with San Diego in terms of the gap in talent and production at the top of the roster at the bottom. They just don't have that depth to call on right now, and so we kind of saw that exposed over the last week with Merrill and Arise and Cronenworth being out. But if when the Padres are healthy and those top 3 starters are cooking, they are really, really tough to beat. So especially at home. So I know they just got swept by Tampa over the weekend. They've been battered, but I would imagine by then in a few weeks, Merrill will be back, or, Arise back, Cronenworth back. If the Mariners can certainly the Yankees are another team, right before that to take seriously, but against that Padres team, that should be a really fun matchup.
Is there a equivalent to the Mariners out there? Just a team that you watch play ball and say, man, that's the Mariners right there. Parallel universe. There they go.
Man, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I don't know. Again, because of how much they've kind of altered the way that we're thinking about things. I mean, I will say that the recipe of what we've seen so far, which is pretty good offense, bullpen before Munoz is going to make things a little bit more interesting than you think. But then you have this elite just closer, right? If you can get it to Munoz with a lead, you're generally going to be in good shape. So that would be what I'm trying to think about is teams that have one good, not one good. I mean, yeah, really
Right.
Yeah, but again, there's some questions otherwise. But I would say a lot of those other cases are a little bit more extreme, right? The Cubs offense is way better than the Mariners offense, but
yeah,
they don't have an elite bullpen, or their pitching staff in general is just way more up in the air than I think where Seattle is at. So I don't think they're going to be playing quite as wild games as Seattle in that sense. But no, it's kind of a weird, slightly alternate brand of baseball than I think we're used to seeing. But maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe that the really, really close, fun differential style in past years, maybe it'd just be better to, win a few games 14-0.
What's kind of fun about that question too, and Jordan, I was thinking about this as you were responding, is season hadn't started yet, you'd probably say a team the Reds have, some pretty good arms, and then questions on offense, or there would probably be teams where you'd go, well, this is what the Mariners were in 2024. What's weird about the Mariners is they've kind of shapeshifted. So it's I'm not quite sure who they truly are, or what to compare them to, because no longer is your starting pitching this fit.
Maybe you end up getting more trustworthy innings on the mound in a Kirby and a Brash, but Jorge Polanco isn't batting, a billion for the whole season. And so, when the offense
he's not Barry
regresses
Bonds?
to some,
That's
yeah. Well, hey, if he is, they're in good shape. But if when he regresses to being merely pretty good, what does this offense look like? Because obviously, at times last year, it was a very bad offense. With just a regular good Jorge Polanco, where this is still a good offense. And if you combine that with a healthier pitching staff, which may or may not be the case this season, right? We don't know when Gilbert's going to come back. We don't know how good Kirby's going to be when he comes back. We don't know what to expect from Brash. But there's things to look forward to where you can maybe wonder about that.
Well, we cannot wait to check out that piece on the NL West with Yahoo Sports. It's a really fun division that we don't have to stress about, so that's pretty cool. Yahoo Sports, Jordan Schusterman, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Jordan. You're the best.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. What should the Titans expect from Tyler Lockett?
This is a good signing, but a weird one at the same time, because Tyler Lockett is the most positive person I've ever met in my life, right? And you listen to him talk about what he's capable of doing. He's drowning out the haters and all that stuff, but when you look at his numbers, he averaged 12.2 yards per catch last year. That's the second lowest in his career. He had 74 targets last year. That's the lowest since 2018. 49 receptions last year, the lowest since 2017. But I think that the situation that he's going to is going to be good for him, because you're dealing with a rookie quarterback, and what a rookie quarterback needs is just a safety blanket. Somebody that he knows is going to be where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, and come down with the football. They're not going to ask Tyler Lockett to have a 1,000-yard season, have 100 catches like he had for 4 years in a row. They're not going to do that. You have a young Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks, A.I. Maynard, who I've spoken about plenty of times on this show. I think is going to slide into that number 3 spot. So what do you expect? The same season you got from him last year. 40-something receptions, 500, 600 yards, a couple of touchdowns. That will be just good enough to kind of be the catalyst and keep these other guys going. But the best thing you get out of him is a reliable person, human being, and someone who can mentor these young receivers.
Second down. Nicky Manwari has been compared to Cam Chancellor, which is a cool comparison, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
Yeah, I heard this, and I felt like this is more like it, and it was Kyle Hamilton. That's the type of now, and it's weird because he's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering. He can slide into the slot and be that nickel guy. And Cam Chancellor is just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to bite anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him, but the thing that makes him more like Kyle Hamilton is just the way that he moves. Like, he's quick, he reacts to stuff, he's smooth with it. Cam Chancellor was a quick person or a fast person, but his game was more about strength and dominance, where Kyle Hamilton is a bit more on skill. So if you can mix those two, which I think you can do with Nicky Manwari, you make some Chancellor, you make some Kyle Hamilton, this is going to be a good situation. He's going to have his ups and downs. He's a rookie, but he could come out just hot. But I always reserve space for rookies to be rookies and to grow.
Yeah.
But I heard the Kyle Hamilton comparison, and that made me feel a bit more comfortable, because comparing him to Cam Chancellor is a big ask, man. Just sprinkle some Cam, sprinkle some Kyle Hamilton, and this young man has opportunity to be really good.
I mean, Cam Chancellor's last season was what, 2017, I think? I don't know how many safeties I've seen in the league since then I'd compare him to. And that's not to say that Cam is the best safety I've ever seen in my life, but like, he just had a very, like Liam Neeson, and taken a unique set of skills.
Yep.
And it was deadly. And I don't know a safety that I've looked at since then and thought, that's Cam Chancellor 2.0.
I don't think they're going to make those anymore.
It's a tough ask. I don't know if they'll be able to play like that anymore. Third down. Speaking of defensive backs, who's the DB drafted you think will have a great rookie season?
No one talks about this dude, and he got drafted, and no one really said anything. It's Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky. He got drafted to the Buffalo Bills. He reminds me of a little bit of Sauce Gardner, but with a bit more junk in the trunk. He's a bit thicker than him, or at least he plays that way, right?
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner's more of a finesse type of corner. Good corner, not knocking Sauce at all. But
Sauce meets Big Dumper, and then you have
exactly. You mix that in. Just watch this young man. He was drafted, 30th pick, I believe, to the Buffalo Bills. And only had 5 interceptions the year before, 1 last year. He has a couple interceptions for touchdowns, but he's so smooth. He's violent. He gets downhill. I just always like finding other players across the league. I know we focus on the Seahawks as this is our home team. We cover them. I work for them. But NFL is full of ballers. And when I saw that he got drafted so late, I thought he'd go a bit earlier. I was a bit surprised. So I think the Buffalo Bills found themselves one with this young man. Maxwell Harrison, you guys watch this dude. He's going to be awesome.
Fourth down. The Seahawks answered a lot of questions in the draft, but not all of them. What position still needs to be addressed?
You got to go look at interior linebackers. I'm a bit concerned. Now, you did sign some interior linebackers off the UDFA list, and you got some guys coming into rookie minicamp. I went back and I looked at the veterans who are available. C.J. Mosley still out there. He's 32. You have Javon Bentley. He's 28. He's still out there. Devondre Campbell, Eric Kendricks, who was here for a little bit. You got some guys out there, but most of these guys are towards the back end of their career. But you need some depth there, because with this defense and the way you want to play with the violence or whatnot, I think Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones are going to be fine, but there are going to be games where they're going to need a break or they're going to get nicked up. This is football. Guys get hurt. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you get hurt in this game. So that's one position I'm still looking at and saying, all right, well, you got to secure that. And then I'm hearing that Shaquille Griffin is really close to coming back and signing with the Seahawks. So if that happens, then I feel better about the cornerback spot as well. I love me some Josh Jobe, but we need some veteran presence over there. But inside linebacker, I'm still looking and saying, all right, well, let's get a guy who's either proven or just has a high ceiling.
What's a fair expectation for Shaquille Griffin? Because when you see a name that you recognize as a Seahawks fan, you have to have an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
One is either, oh, I loved this guy when he was here and I'm so excited, or another could be like, well, what's this about? I don't feel excited about this, but maybe a different kind of role for him.
Yeah, well, things change. He's not going to be asked to be the number one guy. You got 2 youngsters in front of you. You're not going to be asked to follow the best receiver on a football team. You're going to be asked to play situational football, and I think at this point of his career, that's the perfect role for him. So I wouldn't mind seeing him come back here. So corner interior defensive line. I mean, the starters are good. Or interior linebackers, excuse me. The starters are good, but you know how this game goes, man. You need some depth.
Last thing I'll bring up before we move on to what's on tonight. You brought up Michael Kendricks being here with Seattle, and his case has to be one of the weirder ones I've covered, where like every update about Kendricks was just that his court date has been pushed back.
Right.
And it was like, you know, when there are just stories.
Did he ever serve?
I don't know. I don't think he did. And it was like a weird, like, insider trade, allegedly. I don't remember exactly. I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but like that Quentin Dunbar, very different legal situation. Like, there are just certain players that I remember for the off the field stories I covered as opposed to what they did for the team. And Michael was solid. Like, he was well liked, like, but it's just, it became such a weird situation.
Sentenced to 1 day in jail in 2021.
Did he serve it?
I believe so. 3 years of probation and 300 hours of community service.
1 day in jail.
1 day in jail.
1 day?
Hey, well, all right, guys. I'm not even get to know anybody.
You don't need to know
I'm
names.
gonna do I'm just here to do my time, you know?
Do you ever see that Instagram? Well, it's a meme, so I just saw it on Instagram, but it's everywhere. And it's someone saying, like, me and quiet, you guys, we have to go to sleep. Like, just making over. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Angels in today's series finale. Pregame follows us at noon. First pitch is at 1:10 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Timeline coming your way next.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawk history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down every pick and how the Hawks came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Emenwari, kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to go out there, then we'll do that.
Exclusive insider content on the Seattle Sports app and YouTube, and the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House. Serving the best pizza in the universe. Come visit them in Linwood, Bothell, Mill Creek, or online at spartaspizza.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
A little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-D.
In 15 minutes, and then we're sending you to the Mariners pregame show. Get your questions in now to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. First story on The Timeline. The LA Kings have a hit on their hands with their Stanley Cup playoff national anthem performers. The Los Angeles Koreatown Senior Community Center harmonica players cut 11.
And here to perform the national anthem of the United States of America, backed by popular demand, please sing along with the harmonica class from the Koreatown Senior and Community Center.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be really fun.
No. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't want to be.
You don't want to be.
To the
Okay,
next.
okay.
I think
Move
this is Bump's LA Hollywood elitism showing. It's not everybody in Hollywood.
Yes.
Or not every performer in LA needs to be a movie star or a musician.
Yep.
Bump.
This is Bump
it can
with
be a senior community center.
I heard that.
Of Korean women who
Listen.
are
Yes.
just going ham
This
on
is
the
Bump with his
harmonica.
Lakers,
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson on the sideline, $1 million.
Look, I just went to my son's middle school recital the other day.
And?
Vibes. Vibes. Good for them, though.
And we're diving right back in. Tyrese Halliburton's dad was seen getting into a shouting match with Giannis as Milwaukee was trying to leave the court. Cut 13ers, what Giannis said after the game.
You know, having somebody that I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable, okay? And I'm not the guy that points fingers because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something, for him to get fined or anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
Oh, I love Giannis. Here's what Tyrese had to say in cut 14.
I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there, and unfortunate, what happened in the end there. But, I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth, and that's just part of, this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And, it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
Bump, what'd you make of the whole thing?
No, I think both Giannis handled that appropriately. That's how you do it. I mean, Giannis understands that this was an intense series and that his dad got out of hand. But also at the end of that thing, we had our words. Now let's move on. And then Halliburton not letting the intensity of the series affect his response to his dad running on the basketball court, have the fanatics that you do have. So we got to remember these are human beings, and as long as both parties can come out at the end of this and realize where they were right and where they were wrong and move on, I'm all right with it.
He's clearly incredibly proud of his son.
Yeah.
And like any parent would be, and Bump, not to compare an NBA playoff game to Little League or kids games, but I'm sure you've been to one of your kids' games where there are parents involved. Like, I think there's just a type of parent. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tyrese's dad is a type of dad. Like, there's that kind of guy. Sometimes it's a mom that just gets way too overly involved. And it's from a place of love.
Let the athletes take care of that.
Exactly. Next story here in the timeline. Remember when North Carolina football was tabbed as the next off-season Hard Knocks team, but then backed out a few days later? The Athletic reports that Bill Belichick's girlfriend was the one who nixed the entire project. A real question. Is she like a big decision maker here?
How long have they been together?
2 years.
All right, I was going to say.
And I would just like to say she's 24, so the math is questionable.
She got some influence. And I was going to say, it depends on how long they've been together. But also, Bill, you're 72, my guy. You've lived her life 3 times already. You should be the one having main influence of this. Now, listen, we talk about her age and she's young, but that is still his partner. Mm-hmm. So when you have a partner, they have influence on things. It's just funny that
influence and nothing to do with production. This is where part of it comes from. So her name is Jordan Hudson, and she apparently she had a request to be heavily involved in the project. So like, you're going to come here, HBO. You're going to come, that you're going to come here and film Hard Knocks, and she wanted to be really, really, really involved. So then a source speaking anonymously to The Athletic said that they just were like, we're not be doing this. Like, we are not going to proceed with this production because this isn't how we're doing things and we're agreeing to do things. But she's apparently the chief operating officer of Belichick Productions. That's real.
Listen, that young lady, she is creating a beautiful future for herself. And if maybe that's what she wants to do, she wants to get into production. And Bill was going to give her an opportunity to
use the power and influence that she's adjacent to be like, and let's say best read on it, that it's from a place of protectiveness. That she's like, I don't want Bill to be shot in a bad light. I care about him. Sometimes he talks without thinking. He's a little older.
Does he? He don't talk at all.
Well, and everyone knows who Bill Belichick is. Nothing Bill Belichick would say would shock me.
He is the godfather. I think she needs to stay in her lane.
Yeah. Jets quarterback Jordan Travis, sad news here, announced he's medically retiring from football. This is after the leg injury he sustained during his final season at Florida State in the 2023 college football season. Curtis mentioned it off air when the three of us were talking about it, but the domino effects of all of that single injury. And I felt so bad for Jordan at the time because remember he apologized.
It's gonna be a first round. Man, that's so unfortunate. That's football for you, though, man. We've seen this happen a few times in guys' career, and it's just the mental struggle. That's why when I look at a guy like Alex Smith that plays, so I hope that and from what I know of Jordan Travis, he's a smart guy, and he's gonna have other opportunities. But I know that being a starter in the NFL was a
4 quarterbacks, and none of it. And then Florida State too. This last year, coming off of the devastating end to their 2023 season was horrible. I think they won like 2-10.
Yeah, and it's not like we need a reminder that some of the serious injuries that athletes face can be permanent, but I will even admit that as a fan, sometimes I'll see, let's say, a broken leg or even a torn ACL, and I'll be able to immediately think of players that I know and have covered that have come back from that, and you're thinking like, oh man, it sucks for Jordan, but he'll be okay. No.
Have you seen Stephon Diggs running routes 5 months after his surgery? He is full speed right now. It is ridiculous. It's crazy how just bodies respond differently and mentals are different, you know? Because with Jordan Travis, it's like he saw his leg bent in a way it's not supposed to be bent, and mentally that could really jack you up.
That's a really good point.
It's different for everybody.
All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-76. Coming your way next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Jeff Passan of ESPN, who joins us.
Where is Cal in the pantheon of the best catchers in baseball right now?
Is the guy who the Mariners gave $100 million guaranteed to.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and
great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunity. They're looking for mechanics. So if anyone listening has heavy truck experience, you can join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. It's a great option for people, for families, and now for business owners. I'm a proud customer, and I know you will be too. That's Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line. That number, 866-979-3776. We are about to send you to the Mariners pregame show, by the way. And you got a matinee series finale here. Mariners looking for their 7th consecutive series win. Let's see. We got some Seahawks questions to kick us off, though. 425. Which pick has the best rookie season? And then they say, or the best Seahawks career, which is a bold prediction.
Whoa, best rookie season is going to be Zabel because he's going to play every single snap if he is healthy. And I'm knocking on wood, he's going to be healthy. So, yeah, it has to be that young man. Career, I'm staying in the same boat. Zabel, all day. He's going to be one of the better linemen to have played for this organization.
Fair answer. I'll co-sign and move to the next question. What I need to know. With the Mariners offense exploding lately, does it hurt the previous season's lack of hitting excuses like the batter's eye or marine layer as the main reasons for bad hitting? Or is this just Edgar making Edgar magic?
I think Edgar is definitely has an influence on this whole thing. As far as the batter's eye, I don't know, man. I just don't know because Julio's still slumping. Cal's doing exactly what he's been doing over the past X amount of years. Polanco's back. I don't know. I think the batter's eye is like an individual type of thing. You know, as a whole, it might not affect the team, but individually, there are some stadiums I just didn't like playing in. I didn't play well in those stadiums. So I don't think you can look at the whole squad and lump it all together. I think it's a case-by-case deal.
It's in the batter's eye of the beholder.
Hey, he was ready for that. He turned around.
I really thought you'd turn around and you'd be.
I'll let them finish his point.
Let me
hop in here for a second.
I was intentionally quiet and bit my tongue because I was like, Curtis is going to turn around and be like, the thing about the marine layer, and then hit us with something about like OPS in April versus. No, you were just ready with the pun.
Yeah, I just had a pun.
Okay. I will
I'm
say
multifaceted.
there is tons of research about the real impact of the geography of where Seattle is, of the marine layer, of like all kinds of things. But I don't know. I don't think that it's. I think something like a really good voice in your hitting coach room can make maybe a slightly bigger.
Why was this such a big deal? Because Teo couldn't hit here, and he put it out there. Right. So
and
for
because,
him, he didn't like it here. He couldn't hit. Look at him. He's in L.A. doing his thing now. So it's case by case.
What I need to know is Anthony Richardson a good Jalen Milroe comp?
Kinda. They're both super athletic. I think that Milroe was way more accurate than Anthony Richardson was when he was in college. Athleticism, I can see that, but I think Milroe's a better passer than Anthony Richardson at this point.
What's your Mount Rushmore of food? I'm going burgers, wings, tacos, and either teriyaki or pizza. The pizza as a fourth and maybe not even fourth is wild.
I mean,
This person just pick 5. You can't pick 5.
It's no order,
Well, they said
right?
the fourth is either teriyaki or pizza, but they haven't decided.
Tacos,
Yeah,
pizza,
that is correct.
orange chicken.
Okay, now you're okay. Wow.
Orange chicken.
Not on
I mean,
my
I
Mount
see the
Rushmore.
vision, but
and
That's a
lasagna. Lasagna.
What?
That's mine.
That's
yeah.
your Mount Rushmore. Your Mount
I
Rushmore
can eat that
starts.
all day.
You know that drawing of the
Lasagna.
horse
It's
that starts
great,
out
but-
really strong.
Hey. Never had my mama's
Mount
lasagna, Curtis.
Rushmore.
Yeah.
Your Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
of food.
Get the
Pizza.
hard,
Then we go orange chicken and lasagna.
Yes.
It took a turn.
Holla
That,
at me.
it took a really
Hey,
unexpected turn.
Panda Express. Let's get something done. Let's cut a deal.
I was not
Orange
expecting
chicken.
that at all. My
All
first
day.
two would also be pizza, tacos, and then it would be sushi, and
Ew.
okay, and then the last one would be probably like pasta, something pasta related.
You know what? I'm substituting.
So broad.
I'm
What?
substituting.
What are
one.
you taking out? Orange chicken.
I'm taking out orange chicken.
But what about Panda Express?
Panda, we can still do this. And a steak. It's just a good steak. It's nothing. There's nothing better than a good steak.
Bump just joined the ranks of Stacy bad food. Okay, well that's a little excess. We didn't need to include me in this. Orange chicken, Mongolian grill, maybe. Orange chicken that's a wild choice. That is like
Here's my wild card.
the guy that's overdrafted in the first round where they go, wow.
Here's my maybe reach, but I'm staying on business with this.
Okay.
Chicken parm.
Chicken parm.
Chicken parm. So
I put that in the category of how I had
So
pasta and Bump had lasagna, where it's like you can see the vision. Orange chicken really caught me off guard. That was, you took a punter early. You know what I mean?
Hey, live my life. Live my life.
What I need to know, biases aside, who had the better draft, Seahawks or Raiders?
Seahawks. Bias aside,
Yeah.
Seahawks.
I think the Raiders had a fun draft.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted a guy named Tonka Hemingway. That's
Great
a fun name.
Tonka.
Very Pete Carroll draft. I know a lot of people like Jack Betch, and then
They took 2 quarterbacks, didn't they? But isn't one kind of like a gadget guy? I think it was like the Montana State quarterback. They're kind of using as like a Taysom Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
let's see what I need to know. If I have this correct, we have 4 running backs. How many are we actually going to keep, and who do you think will emerge as the top 2?
You're going to keep all 4 of them. You're going to keep all 4 because running backs can do special teams, and their best years, not their best years, but there was like a 4 or 5 year span where they always kept 4 running backs on the roster, and they're so different. They're different type of backs, but one of them has to excel on special teams.
Oh, I like this. I don't know if we'll have one right away, but it's a fun question. What's a sports stat that you personally find the most ridiculous or comical?
Comical?
Yeah. Like maybe you can't take it seriously, or you just think it's kind of funny that it's a stat.
Oh, man.
You feel like it doesn't tell.
Quarterback wins.
Yeah.
Oh, this quarterback has X amount of wins. He don't play defense. He doesn't play special teams. Like, I understand you need a quarterback to win, but you need a lot more other things than just a quarterback.
I'm not saying this is a ridiculous stat. It's actually super insightful, but I just like saying BABIP.
Average of balls in play.
I think it's just funny to say.
I don't like saying it because it feels like I'm just saying it wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
That's what I just did with Jack Besh, I'm not sure.
A ridiculous stat, though, is Tiger Woods not missing a putt within 3 feet.
That was wild.
For like over 1,000 attempts or something like that.
Would you rather be able to sink every putt within 3 feet or never ever have orange chicken again?
Sink every putt within 3
What
feet.
about sink every putt within 3 feet or never have orange chicken or lasagna again?
Sink every putt within 3 feet.
Sink every putt or you can't have any of your Mount Rushmore ever again in your life.
I gotta eat.
Okay. I needed to figure out the threshold. When do we choose the Rushmore of food?
What do we think is... Because ESPN introduced, what was it, Total QBR a few years ago?
Yeah.
And then there's also QBR.
Yeah.
Like, I can't follow that.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, well, this one.
I get 1s out of 100, so it's sort of like supposed to be easier to measure a quarterback's success, but I still don't understand how either is.
Yeah, make it out of 100, and it's easier.
Yeah. My favorite is someone who didn't send in a question. They just said, orange chicken is wonderful.
They're right.
You got
They're
someone here
right.
just daydreaming about orange chicken. I just know they're at work just thinking now, but I'm like, man,
We'll get some Panda.
I really could
you gotta
use
go
some
get takeout.
Panda right now. It's amazing. All right, we only have a little bit of time left here. So within the last, let's say 20, 15 seconds here, who gets the first home run today? Who gets a home run today? Bump.
Julio.
Curtis.
Randy.
Great.
Were you looking for a reason?
No, you know what? I'm going to go with, why not J.P. Crawford leading things off? The Mariners pregame show is coming your way next. Get ready for a matinee series finale against the Angels.
Brock and Salk. Straight from Pierre, South Dakota, Brock. Gray, good morning. How are we feeling today?
Super excited to be a part of the Seahawks and the team that they do.
Are you still growing? Could we see a bigger Gray Zabel at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, big thing about gaining weight is just steaks and squats. That's all you got to do to put on pounds.
Steaks and squats. Well, and you could go from Bush Light to Bud Heavy if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. A few extra carbs.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports. The app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Need a new roof, but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, SNOcasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Looking for the perfect engagement ring? At Shane Company, we know this is an exciting time. It can also be overwhelming. Customers say this a lot. Where do I start? How do I choose? At Shane Company, this is where the magic happens. Since 1929, we've been experts at helping customers find the perfect engagement ring. We invite you into the design process, help you pick out the perfect diamond or colorful gemstone, and choose a style that speaks to you. Come see us in store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO